Hello, people. Hello. Okay, so hello and welcome. If you happen to pop in, just like all of my other live streams, I would super appreciate if you said hello. Let me know where you are from, just so I know I'm not like talking to myself up in here. So today I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of an energy update. I'm noticing some themes floating around the collective. And so I thought I would just pop in to kind of discuss those themes because I'm feeling very, I guess you could say like optimistic. It's feeling like a really interesting, cool time right now in terms of, this new moon that we are facing. It seems like a really great time for opportunity, for reinvention, and for really shifting our self-concept, our identity, so that we can get into the next level. So those of you who have been in my world for a while will know that I am very, very into identity shifting. I'm really into it for myself. I'm really into it for helping my clients do their identity shifting stuff. And so this is something that I actually really love to talk about. Now, just to be clear, I first started noticing this theme kind of in the context of things falling apart, things breaking down, right? Which is something that happens. That's all part of it, right, you guys? Hey, Gina, just making sure. Can you hear me? I've had some issues with the microphone here. So just let me know if you can. But I've noticed this first in the context of like sort of a negative connotation. So there's a lot of people I'm seeing out there that are getting laid off. There's a lot of people out there that are having breakdowns in relationships. I think that we can see in general, there's a lot of, and we've talked about this before, because although I kind of do these like energy updates periodically when I feel inspired to do them, when I certainly start getting these messages from the collective, there are certain themes that are like woven throughout for longer time periods, right? So for example, I did an energy reading for the beginning of July, or sorry, for the beginning of 2025. And a lot of those themes are still present, right? And so we are seeing, obviously, collectively, a lot of things breaking down. We're seeing like behind the curtain, how the sausage is made in a lot of different industries and a lot of different roles, and also on a personal level, right? So if anybody is watching this on replay or right now, like, let me know, is there some sort of tower moment going on in your life? Is there some sort of way that the things that were once safe and secure are no longer feeling that way? Now, again, as somebody who does kind of identity shifting work as a career, as somebody who helps support other people navigate their shadow and navigate their identity, I will say wholeheartedly, despite kicking and screaming and not really liking how it feels experientially, that sort of chaos it can be a really bright and beautiful opportunity for us. I know that sounds like one of those trite, like everything happens for a reason things, but like, to be clear, it's those times where everything kind of start collapsing, where the way that we thought things were working stop working. Those are such clear opportunities. They're very chaotic, but they're such clear opportunities for us to really get fucking serious with ourselves about what we do and do not want, right? And these can be really difficult things to kind of face when things are going smoothly, right? Because when things are going smoothly, you kind of have two options. You can go on autopilot a little bit and you can ride it out. Or if you're more of a person, like I used to be, you will just instigate chaos yourself to burn it all the fuck down, right? And so these are kind of the options that we are faced with. Now, when it comes to the energy I'm feeling into right now, it's feeling like a really shadowy soup of opportunity when it comes to really getting crystal clear on your identity and on the things you do and do not want. Again, collectively, we are seeing themes where even the systems that we kind of took for granted is like, oh, they work like this or they're like this. We are seeing the back end of everything, right? Which really leaves us in a place of having to face, like, are we going to continue pretending, performing? Are we going to continue playing by rules that are outdated? Now, I don't really give a fuck about the collective stage of these things so much because I mean, it's always going to be a fucking circus. But on the personal level, I think it's really important that we all figure this out on an individual level because a lot of us go through life for years and years and years not taking our opportunities to reinvent ourselves when we dramatically and desperately need to because we are not living in alignment with the things that we desire, with our goals, or the things that we say that we want. And so I think it's really important on an ongoing basis to kind of involve yourself in some sort of reinvention. After all, you are always going to be a different person, right? You're a different person than you were when you started watching this. You're a different person than you were last week. You might be a different person, when you achieve something big you worked for ages. You might be a different person than you were when you first initially set that goal. But we need to really normalize and like make it more mainstream to on an ongoing basis go, is this something I still want? Is this something I still need? Now, I am a huge, and you guys know this, but I'm a huge advocate for authenticity, radical authenticity, because I think this is the mechanism by which life really becomes more bearable. And I believe that if you're having more fun in life, if things are coming more easily, if you're living more aligned with your spirit and your authenticity, then fucking, of course, everything is going to fall into place a lot better that way than when you're staying in this path of resistance where it's like you're fighting everything every step of the way. If you're not living an authentic life, and your self-concept and your identity is definitely a part of this, but if you're not living an authentic life, every single morning you are waking up and making a choice, whether it's conscious or subconscious, to essentially stick your own boot on your own head. And then when you think about the fact that like we teach other people how to treat us, is it no wonder that we can feel like our relationships aren't serving us, like our jobs are not appreciating us, like, the people in our world are not fully understanding like our needs because we aren't advocating them, because we are not being authentic with ourselves. Now, I think that when it comes to this energy right now, it's a very clear call to kind of look at places in your life where you might be feeling like you are not living in alignment with the things that you claim that you want, with the identity that you would like to have. Because the fact is, we can all walk around with like this nebulous idea in our head of like who we want to be, how that differs from the place we're at right now. And we can kind of have this, I kind of have this idea of like, I want to be like this, but not sitting down to really think about it and to really think about what that difference is, the difference between how you're feeling now and how that version of you would feel, is really where that gap and that chasm happens. Because ultimately, when you think about it, a person who is living, say your goal is to I'll use myself an example. So I'm an author. I write books, right? That was not my life before. Trust me, fucking trust me. And I really dealt with like a lot of insecurity. I really had a lot of, why would anyone listen to what I have to say? And like, trust me, there's actually people in my life, family members, etc., that backed that up and that would say that message as well. And so when you thought about it, I had this idea. I really want to be an author. I really want to do these things. But every day when I woke up, I was not living in alignment with that, because I was living in alignment with my self-concept, and my identity at that time was like, that could never be me. Nobody would care what I have to say, which changed how I moved, right? So when it comes to trying to reinvent yourself or trying to align yourself with your the identity, the reinvention that you feel really deeply that you want, it's important to really look at how the beliefs, the shadows, all of that sort of stuff that are lying in your subconscious might be causing you to live your life as if your life was a recipe that is baking a very different cake. Does that kind of make sense? Sometimes I just get to yapping, but that is the essence of it, which is why authenticity is so deeply important. Because if you say to yourself and you say, "This is who I truly am, and I'm tired of playing with it. I'm tired of pretending I'm someone different. I'm tired of dimming myself to fit in so that, all these other people think XYZ." The truth about authenticity is it comes with a price. And the price is this: that you no longer get to control or determine how other people receive you or whether or not they fucking like you. You do not get to have both, right? So you have to decide for yourself, do I want the whole cake or do I want crumbs, right? So right now, I feel like new moons are such a good opportunity for this kind of conversation, like that, for discussions of like new beginnings, of reinvention, of all of that sort of stuff. And so it feels very timely that right now a lot of chaotic things are happening where people are having to really dramatically look at what's going on in their life, what they actually want, and having to get crystal fucking clear about how to radically move in that direction. So we tend to think of like identity shifting or reinvention or anything like that. We tend to see it as something that's kind of like a luxury, right? Like, oh, when things even out, maybe I can work on that. Or like, oh, well, when things are a little more calm, I can like start putting myself first. And that's actually like completely ass backwards, because the truth is this is a survival skill. If you have an energetic bucket and you are spending every day pretending you're being someone you're not, which is like, it's usually it's not like we're waking up and choosing not to be authentic. It's usually we're in these circumstances where our deep desire to be accepted by others or to not have them place their judgment on us is making it more of a shadowy subconscious thing. But if we have this energy bucket, that is like holes in that bucket. Every single day you're fighting an uphill battle that you're not even choosing to fight. You're not even intentionally trying to fight. So I used to work in an office. You guys, can you picture me in an office, guys? Can you imagine me? I'm like, how's your day? It was good. How was your day? How are your kids? Like, literally, just no, I can't. But I used to work in an office, and it was actually really such a struggle for me because I felt like I got up every day and played this role of like, I'm a functional, like normal human being. I'm wearing my normal human clothes and I'm behaving in a normal human way. And it was really difficult for me because I didn't actually realize like the toll of that until I was out of it and experienced life on my own terms. So, does anybody else have a situation where that feels relatable to them? A situation where they feel like they might not be living their fully freest expressed self. So when I was in that job, I was in middle management, you guys. So it was like people would come to me with their complaints. I had to try to I had to navigate very difficult situations because I worked in middle management for community inclusion. So there was a lot of like violence. There was a lot of like dealing with people's families, sensitive issues. There was a lot of dealing with different personalities. I had like a staff team, and like some of them I could be really cool in myself with, and then some of them like absolutely fucking not. And so it was really hard to kind of like navigate all of that stuff. And I will say I didn't even realize how exhausted I was, like sitting in business meetings and like, oh my God, somebody please. Like I would just imagine taking a pen and like jamming it in my eye just for a little bit of excitement. But it was like, I didn't even realize how much that drained me until I was out of it. Now I was really kind of lucky in that job that I got to be playful there. Like I had like all the appliances in my office. I would put googly eyes and things on them. And because of the population that I worked with, it was like that always went over pretty well. But like when I had to do the office thing and like go do the occupational health and safety meetings and things like that and do the like, oh, hi, how are you? Like, oh my God, I cannot. So when we're talking about reinventing ourselves on an ongoing basis and working with our identity and figuring out who we authentically are and how to bring that forward, this is something that is very much a survival skill. I think there's this common misconception that your this common misconception that like knowing who you are is like this end goal, when really it's a moving target. It should always be a moving target, right? Because you're always going to be in a state of flux, and your relationship with yourself should always be in a state of flux. Now, sometimes when we are in these kind of tower moments, collectively, individually, whatever they are, where things are not working out as planned, where maybe we have some situations where the rug is getting pulled out from under us, we can have a lot of grief and confusion, rage. We can have a lot of anger. We can have a lot of like feeling kind of sorry for ourselves and things like that. And what we need to do is take all of that as evidence of the things that we do and do not want, the ways we do and do not want to feel. So I usually try and frame it as your full body fuck yes, your full body fuck no. Sometimes we don't actually get to get those answers and get to know what those things are unless we are put in these situations. And then we're like, well, I know not fucking that, right? And so that can be really helpful for clarity. So that's kind of like the themes that I'm seeing right now, the themes that I am feeling right now, is that although this is a time of chaos, although this is a time where things maybe aren't working out as planned, it is a time of opportunity, and it is a time where we can get very crystal clear about what we do and we don't want. And it can be a time where we're really confronted with the fact that, like, you know what, if all the rules are breaking, then maybe my participation in these systems, maybe my participation with, trying to pretend I'm living a life that is no longer suiting me, or aspects of my life are no longer suiting me. It's time for that to collapse as well, so that I can start leading and living life on my own terms and the things that I want. It can be really hard to do that sometimes. It can be very nerve-wracking to do that, and it can feel like there's a leap of faith required for that. And that's something that is very normal. Just so everybody is fucking clear here, that is a very normal part of the human existence. Like, I don't think there's a single human being out there that feels like they have it all figured out. And if they do, I would struggle to imagine what they must be like to be around. Okay, so just popping into the chat here in the comments, normies frighten me. Yes. I spent the majority of my life just going through the motions and doing what I have to do and not even really thinking about what I actually want to do. Yes. And that's so, feel like that's so deeply relatable to so many of us. I spent like my entire 20s and a lot of my 30s like that as well, which is kind of why I absolutely fucking love getting older, you guys. I'm going to be 42 this year, and I'm telling you, it's like the best. I hate when people talk shit about aging, because I'm like, you must be young if you're saying that, because it just keeps getting better. That is so deeply relatable, because a lot of us get kind of sucked into that cycle, because the system that we live in is really meant to perpetuate that cycle. It's meant to be, we get told like, you're supposed to do this, and then you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to do this. Like, it's this linear step-by-step thing. And so the fact that we are often living in some form of survival modes, or like some of us have health problems, or some of us are dealing with caregiving for other people, or some of us are, if you have kids, then holy shit, it's like on steroids. I'll tell you, after you have kids, a bunch of kids, sometimes you can feel after like, who was I even in the first place? And then it feels like you're chasing this version of yourself from ages ago, when really that version doesn't exist either. Who are you right the fuck now, right? That's the question. We're not like, reinventing yourself again should be ongoing. But things are set up in this way that it gets very easy to get trapped in that cycle. And there's this like deep conditioning and programming that comes up with that. That's also like, well, because of all of these demands on you and all of these hats you have to wear and all these roles you have to play, that caring for yourself or putting yourself first, or even figuring out what the fuck it is you want in life, is something that is somehow selfish. And that's just like not the case, right? It's just not the case. And so I think it's really important, and a very deep responsibility for every person who's ever noticed that happening in their lives. And right now feels like a very deep collective theme of this happening. It's a very important responsibility to be able to stop and go, wait, who am I in this moment? What are my desires? What are my dreams? What are my goals? at the very basic, like, what is it that I actually enjoy doing? Not everybody has. I think this is another misconception. Some people think that everybody has these big lofty dreams and goals and things like that. And that is simply not the case. Some people, their biggest, most lofty dream, goal, aspiration, ambition is just to vibe and feel good. Fundamentally, that's what human beings want, right? That's like what most of us are chasing, is just that feeling of feeling good, of feeling stable, of being able to kind of roll with it to some degree. So looking back in the chat here, yes, I turned 45 this year and the BS tolerance has officially reached 0. It's amazing, isn't it? It's just like you kind of realize like, oh, that shit I spent all those years worrying about doesn't fucking matter. Now what? Right? And that's actually super fucking liberating. Gina is saying, I love it getting older, except the illness thing. Yes, but it's fixable for me. Okay, that's yeah. So it's just something where you know, getting older is just bomb. That's just what I'm gonna say. Okay, so the coming back to the energy theme for right now, if things are falling apart, if things are feeling crazy, a few prompts to lean into for you would be you know, how am I wanting to feel? How am I wanting to feel? If my life was, say, a play or a TV show, like, what character would I want to be? I'd want to be the main character. I'll tell you that for damn sure. But like, am I the hero of my story? Right? Am I a mentor? Am I a guide? Like, what role do I want to play in my own story? And how do I want to feel? What am I doing with my time? What are my worries? And are those things I'm even worried about? Are those things I even care about? You know, again, authenticity, the price you pay is not worrying about what other people have to think of you. Because guess what? And I do confidence work with people and authenticity work with people, and this happens all the time. One of the deepest fears is how other people are going to perceive you and if they're going to judge you. And I will tell you, and people don't like saying this, they are going to judge you. If you flip the switch and you all of a sudden go from being very agreeable and very this and very that to start putting yourself first, there are going to be people in your life that are going to judge you. They're going to point fingers at you. They're going to be feeling some type of way about it. And you have to be able to energetically hold your fucking ground, because you have to be committed to yourself and your experiential voyage or journey in this life. So for this new moon energy update, look into your self-concept. I do have a couple of videos on like identity shifting, self-concept, law of assumption, that sort of thing. I should have linked them in the description, but I can do that after. But if that is something that you're into, you can look at those resources. But right now is a time to look around and say, am I living the life I want to live? Is this identity is what I think to be true about me actually true? Or is it something old, something outdated that I am clinging to because it makes me feel safe, right? So when it comes to trying to shift identity and become more authentic, what you need to do is really do that shadow work, really figure out like, what are those barriers? Why am I afraid of those barriers? What's coming up for me? How am I like not seeing certain things? Where are my blind spots? Identity shifting, I see like depth psychology, identity shifting, and chaos magic is like all essentially the same thing, because all it is really using mindset, worldview, and belief as a tool. So you can always do things like invoking archetypes. You can do different rituals. Again, I do have like, with that identity shifting video, I have like, oh my God, I'm always over delivering. I really have to stop. But it's like a 17-page workbook to try and like get clarity on that stuff. I'll definitely add it to the description afterwards here. So does anybody want a card? Does anybody have any questions, any thoughts, anything like that, y'all? Okay, looking back here. My biggest goal right now is self-mastery and healing. Then we'll see what unfolds from there. That's like literally, that's like all you need to really orient yourself towards in life in general. That's what I think. I mean, honestly, that's kind of the foundation from which everything else is built. Okay, so trust me, if you have a growth mindset, which if you're here, you do, yes. A card would be fabulous. Okay, cool. So I'm going to pull a card here. And I'm trusting that if anybody is watching this on replay, it will be what the card that they need if they're seeing it. Ooh, here we go. So this one right here, this is the first one. So this is what if. This is the what if card, and it goes very well with what we are talking about right now. So this card is all about leading into possibilities, because we tend to use the what if in a negative way. What if I'm about to be investing some, getting some help with my business. And it's like scary for me because I'm like, well, what if it doesn't work? And what if this is happening? And what if that, but what if it works? What if everything is great? What if your next level is right at your fingertips? What if all of a sudden everything starts falling into place in the most beautiful way? Is there something happening for you right now that you are what ifing yourself down the wrong path? Can you what if yourself into the right path? What if I fall in love? What if I win the lottery? What if all my dreams came true within the next 6 months? What if? So if that is relatable to you or helpful for you, that is your what if card. What if? What if is not only something we can use to bash the shit out of ourselves. We can what if ourselves into a more beautiful, positive, and glorious mindset. Now, I'm just looking here. April is saying, I got to get past my fear of failure and judgment. Yes, that is one. That is like a requirement. It's funny because I do show up online and do all of this sort of stuff. That has been something I've had to learn like really fucking fast and hard. And the truth is like failure is always a learning opportunity, is always a lesson. And I try and look at everything I create and everything I put out there. I try and look at my whole platform, my whole online footprint in my case, as a altar to cringe. Because if I'm not doing the stuff, then I'm not doing the stuff, right? And you have to keep it moving, always keep it moving. And so, yes, it is hard when we deeply fear to fail, but it's always a failure in general to never try. And also, if other people are judging you, then that means you are living authentically. If nobody's judging you, then you're probably being so boring and forgettable. Hate to say it, but the next card, upside down, hunt for good. This goes really well with the other card that we got, you guys. So this is our reminder to look around for the good things. Ooh, okay. Sorry, I just got something. So if you, on the theme of this identity reinvention, all of that, I'm getting a very clear message. And I don't know who here, if this is for somebody here or what, but I'm getting a very clear message that you should be leaning into your gifts more fully. I'm getting a very, very clear message that this habit of writing yourself off is something that is not serving you. So I'm hearing very directly with this card, that's bizarre. Okay, I'm hearing very directly with this card to hunt for the good. So that's not only the good in your life, all the things that are going right, all of the good things that are coming to you, all of the ways that gratitude and counting your blessings, blah, 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 all of that stuff, but also hunting for the good within yourself, within your identity. If you are reinventing yourself, there are things you should not leave behind. There are gifts, there are things that other people adore and love about you. How's that for a prompt, guys? Go and write in your journal on a page, what are all the compliments you get the most frequently, and what do they have in common, right? What do they have in common? Go hunt for the good. Do not write yourself off. Thank you guys so much for being here. It was so great to see you all. Just so you guys are aware, I'm doing like a current relaunch of my creator cosmology, which is my 3-month creative coaching, which is like shadow work. I do give like custom content prompts and things for people to just like move through and break through their blocks and their issues. Also, guys, all of my coaching packages are on sale right now. And my toxic trait is knowing for a hard fact that if you give me 3 months, I will shift things for you. Why? Because I've done it plenty. I have lots of great testimonials, which is great because then other people do the heavy lifting of my marketing. But all of that is on sale right now. If you need payment plans or anything like that, just feel free to reach out. But it is prime time to work with me, you guys. And I'm really looking forward to coaching people, my areas of expertise, obviously authenticity, confidence, and shadow work. And then, of course, creative coaching. The creative cosmology package is a little bit different because we do a full map. So if you are a creative, if you are a brand or a business or something like that, I do like a full mapping process, which essentially kind of figures out where your struggles are, where your unique kind of difficulties are. Because a lot of the people I work with, I noticed this one map really spoke to so many issues. So some people, it's like, I need to have a niche. No, the fuck you don't. Use me as an example. No, the fuck you don't. There are some people that struggle with procrastination, analysis paralysis. I call it getting trapped in R&D mode, like research and development, where you're like, oh, if I got another certification or another course or another this or another that. No, fucking move is what you need to do. And then also looking at those fears of judgment, those that, fears of, scarcity type issues, all of that. I kind of fell ass backwards into this process, this mapping process that talks to all of those different things, and have had like really, truly incredible results with people. So if you want to work with me one-to-one, check out my links below, you guys. And thank you again for being here. I hope you guys have a great night.